Support for Just Seen It comes from Fandor, dedicated to supporting independent films and filmmakers. Movies from around the world are available at fandor.com/PTV. Fandor, all for film. New parents Mac and Kelly move into an idyllic neighborhood.
This is delightful.
But their quiet life is shattered when the house next door is taken over by a fraternity.
Is that a fraternity?
It quickly becomes a war of babies versus beer bottles.
Make sure if we're too noisy, call me first. Don't call the cops.
Okay.
Hey.
I'll go tell them to
In Neighbors.
Hi, I'm Brenna, and I'm here with Sasha and Zorianna to talk about the new comedy Neighbors. We've all just seen it. Sasha, how about you start us off?
It's raunchy, it's hilarious, it's ridiculous, and I think that that's its strong suit. When it starts trying to make sense, it falls to pieces. Because when you actually think about the central conceit in this movie, that there's a frat house next to these nice people played by Seth Rogen and Byrne, why couldn't they get them out of the neighborhood? Yeah. But the fun parts, ridiculous things like, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say airbags, falling down, feeling so stupid that I was laughing as hard as I was, but still loving every second of it.
Yeah. The premise is a big problem with this movie because of how unbelievable it is. They try and cover it by saying, oh, you know, the frat boys helped out in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter how nice you are during the day. If you're playing music that loud and being that obnoxious at night, all the cops are gonna come out.
I actually did have one of the worst neighbors in the world, so I can say getting rid of somebody is difficult, but getting rid of somebody I think is hard. Getting rid of a whole frat house, like, who
in a
really
residential
wants...
area?
Come on!
It's basically set piece after set piece, gag after gag, and it's low on plot, big on jokes, even though it escalates into complete ridiculousness. By that time, it's too late. You've boarded the train, you're on the ride, you just have to finish it.
But every time they were ramping up for what you knew would be some giant set piece, it was right around the time where I was like, wait a second, come on, they would be able to sort this out. And then the set piece would deliver in a way where I was fine with it. It was funny enough, they were committed enough, I enjoyed it enough that I just went for it.
What are you doing?
Yeah. We're throwing a Robert De Niro party. Oh. I'm a taxi driver, De Niro.
Yeah, meet the fuck is De Niro. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
We're sorry we called the cops, okay?
Hey, when you called the cops, you violated the circle of trust, fucker.
There were so many great little, like, people that would pop up. I'm sorry, Dave Franco, for me, owned this movie. Yeah. I would watch an entire sequel with him just doing his Robert De Niro impression. I'd be fine with that. I would watch that and laugh for hours.
You know, there are so many great performances. You mentioned Dave Franco, but to me, my favorite person in this film was Byrne. I mean, thank God someone finally gave her a role that's not just the pretty hot girlfriend like she was in Get Him to the Greek, or something so supporting like she was in Bridesmaids, even though she was great in that movie. Here, she got to do so many great things.
Maybe this is all generational stuff, but I enjoyed the dialogue and the relationship between Dave Franco and Zac Efron the most. I think they were the most comfortable. I believed their broness. They seemed like they are bros. They were the bro. Yeah. They embodied the bro, and it was brilliant. I liked Byrne. I like having a capable female comedian because everybody says, you know, women aren't funny. She's totally proving that wrong. It's great to see her keeping up with this huge cast. But then you have Zac Efron and you have Dave Franco who have their bro-offs back and forth, and it's brilliant.
I love Dave Franco. Dave Franco kills it.
Dave Franco stole it for me.
Some of the film's more sort of sensitive moments are actually between the two of them as well, and that was really nice. They did get their little moment. Are you cringing?
I have to be honest, and this is coming from someone who owns all 3 High School Musical movies. Zac Efron was totally out of his depth. I love him. I once thought this guy's gonna be the next, like, A-list guy. After movies like this, after That Awkward Moment, after Charlie St. Cloud, I don't think he is a capable actor.
I thought he was terrific. I thought he made fun of himself, he was funny.
I think he is always a little bit too big. It always feels very contrived, very robotic. It never feels like it's actually an authentic performance.
I think he works in the role. I don't think there's anything particularly stand out about his role. Because you go away from that and you think, man, Seth Rogen's hairy back, or man, Dave Franco's impressions, or man, Byrne's.
Right.
All these things you come out from, you don't really come out of it thinking, Zac Efron.
Who's this little lady?
Stella.
Stella,
That's so cute.
Best name ever. Are you kidding?
She's a little flirt.
Oh, like her mom, I bet.
Cool. Anyway, if you could maybe just sometime...
Keep it down.
All right.
So our director, Nicholas Stoller, is a veteran of comedy. He's written a lot more than he's directed. He's sort of just new to the directing game. He directed Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He also wrote The Muppets. And he seems to be doing pretty well for himself here.
He fascinates me because he's got a filmmaking career, which is kind of raunchy comedy with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. With this one, he did 5 Year Engagement, which kind of takes it more into that adulthood, which we see a little bit in this movie with our suburban couple. But on the other hand, you've got the movies that he was just involved with purely as a screenwriter, like The Muppets.
Right.
He's writing Captain Underpants right now. Yes. So he's got this more of a family side to him as well. And I just can't reconcile that both of these come from one man.
If you love filthy hilarity or Zac Efron, see it.
Neighbors is a little bit sloppy and untamed, but there's a freedom about it that's just exhilarating. So I say see it.
Neighbors is lewd, crude, and laugh out loud funny. Sometimes they talk too much, but it's still definitely worth checking out. See it.
Cheers!
I'm gonna get hate mail for talking about Zac Efron.